So I'm Phil Wexler. I'm the marketing director for Fotoboyz events. We are an experiential marketing company, and we do not just one aspect, but we do a lot of different aspects of multiple types of events, from retail to our corporate events to private events as well. We saw a need, and this goes way back to 1993. We started out doing with a Polaroid camera and cutting pictures out of a Polaroid camera and putting them onto buttons and keychains and coffee mugs and things like that. And there was a demand because people didn't have digital cameras. They didn't have a method to get a photo now. The only thing there was film. So we went straight from Polaroid to video to chroma keying, and it was just this super fun passion for making these cool items that were personal and practical and can capture people's memories. What I love most about our business is the ability to take something that exists and twist it in a different way for a client. And it's so much fun when people come to us, and it happens all the time, where they say, hey, we would like to do something unique and different, and and they go on with this long story, and they may say something that we've either, one, never heard of, two, never done it in that way. And what is super fun to me and not so much fun to my staff is I say yes. And then we figure out how to make it happen, and they go, oh, and I say yes. And then I ask someone like Boaz and say, hey, we'd like to do it XYZ. Is that possible? Well, and then I get the pregnant pause from somebody, and they go, maybe, and then figure out how to make that happen. And that's always really cool to me. And, it's always a good challenge. We've done thousands of events, and to give you a favorite event, I'd probably go to a couple of ones that I can give you a little short one. I asked one of our partners the other day what his favorite event was, and he made a snap call, which was last year was the 50th anniversary of Royal Caribbean cruise line, and we did. He was able to participate with a couple of our team on a 5-day cruise where they went to every single activity on the cruise with to capture photos that created a photo mosaic wall that was, I believe, about 2,500 squares, and it was a amazing experience because they got to go at the diamond premier level of the cruise. The last square that was put into the mosaic was filmed for RCTV, Royal Caribbean TV, and it was put in by the CEO and the captain, the longest reigning captain in the Royal Caribbean line, it was on the largest cruise ship in the world. So we have this video of them putting that last square in and making that moment. I think that's a really cool one. We have another one that stands out for me because it was another personal one. I don't go to a lot of events, but I try to find the fun ones to go to. So we have a contract with a big brand, which everybody's going to know, called Heineken. And it's not directly with them. It's with their marketing company, their marketing team. And what we've done for them in years past was we did big music festivals. So I got to go to Ultra Music Festival, Outside Lands, and the best one was Coachella, which is a big, it's pretty worldwide known festival. And what we did is this thing called the Heineken House. And it was this respite from being outdoors in this hot environment. It was super air conditioned, and people would come there and get a minute to have a nice beer and dance. And they had amazing music. But what we had going on there is we had our virtual graffiti wall. And it was so cool and so unexpected because the people that are there are very artistic and creative. So they got on the wall and they didn't just draw their name or do something silly, but they went crazy. And I had two graffiti artists that were working for us there that were doctoring up photos live facing a dance floor. We were lined up from the minute we opened to the last second, to the point where the general manager of this space that we were in would come by and literally have to shut us down. The security guards would stand at the end of our line and not let any more people come to the graffiti wall. And it was that was one of my super fun ones. Plus, I got to see all the greatest concerts in the world up front and backstage. And my trailer was sitting next to Katy Perry's. I had all kinds of fun stuff, good experiences. We are not a photo booth company. We're not a photo company. We're not photographers even. We really aren't. What we are is we look at it that we're creating experiences. So our milestone, it's not an exact moment, but it's the ability to take probably someone's idea to fruition. And and really, there's a phrase that we use that may sound corny to a lot of people, but we really live by it. And it's called under promise and over deliver. And what that means in reality is that what we can wow somebody by bringing a 50-inch monitor. It's just another piece for us on the truck. But when somebody goes and they look up and they see the slideshow going from one of our products on the graffiti wall, going from something like that, and they see themselves on the screen, it unlocks them and makes them go, wow, that's so awesome. We didn't even charge them for it. Or on the same token, one of the other things that we love to do is surprise people by taking the outtakes of a video flip, for the outtakes from a flip book. And what we'll do is we'll take all the outtakes, the original cuts, and set them to music and share them with the guest of honor. So then they get this extra little piece that they weren't expecting. And to me, doing those kind of things, it's not a milestone in and of its name, but it is a way to roll. That's how we do it. We did over 12 individual events for Super Bowl 20, which was right in Miami. And we had clients ranging from BMW to ESPN to a thing called the NFL Legends Lounge. And we actually did the after party for the Kansas City Chiefs, which was the world champions, or world in the United States, but they call it world champions. They won the Super Bowl. And we did the after party for the Chiefs owner's family, the Hunt family, and got all kinds of great photos of the team, the players, all the whole thing. And I thought that was pretty cool. That's a pretty good milestone to be at that level, competing at that. The features that sold us on buying from Foto Master are not actually a feature. There was two of them. One originally was Boaz. Boaz Tulum, the founder of Foto Master. I felt his passion. I felt his security in knowing that he has a solution. And that was probably the first feature, but it's not really a feature. And what continues on that, which is amazing, is I can say this, it is no longer about Boaz. It is about Foto Master. It's grown to the point where it isn't any one person, although I have a great relationship with Boaz and it's great to be able to speak to him. It's not critical that I speak to him on a regular. But the other feature that sold us on Foto Master 100% is, and I've said this to many people and I will say it to anybody that wants to know, is at 10:30 at night, you're at an event for a client and you make that phone call and you got one finger in your ear, you can barely hear it, and something crashes and something happens and there's a problem and you go, hey, I need to speak to somebody. And they jump on TeamViewer at the Foto Master tech support and they solve that problem for you. And you go back and nobody even knew there was a problem. So the feature is the ability to be there when you really need them, because everybody can talk a really good game about how wonderful their piece of hardware is. I call them toaster ovens, because what the hell's the difference between this photo booth and that photo booth and this one and that one? It really doesn't mean anything. What means something is what you can do with that item and can you actually execute. So long-winded way of answering your question about features, but those are the features that people in the real world actually care about, and that's where we live. The impact that Foto Master had on our business is it just became, it's not a vendor relationship, a vendor-buyer relationship. It is a partnership. And it goes back to the fact that we have taken things and, again, twisted them up and made them something different. And they will go along with it and try to create what your needs are, to see something that's, as a challenge and it's good. And the impact is that we can say yes when other companies probably are going to say no. And that's sort of an impact, is knowing that we have this great tech team behind us that will, in essence, support us. And even when it's not exactly easy or straightforward or selling the product exactly as it sits on the floor. Foto Master products are extremely durable. And I like the fact that They own up to the fact when something is not a good system. I'll give you a negative that's going to actually lead to a positive. Going way back to our very first graffiti wall, first of all, we own pretty much the large window of different products that Foto Master has, from graffiti walls to mirrors to mosaic to flip books, all kinds of stuff. And one of the things that I'll give the example is the original graffiti wall spray cans were very, very difficult. And I'll give you a perfect scenario. Somebody, a competitor of ours, went to a client and tried to use an inferior style of spray can. And they could not execute because there was too much interference. The technical parts don't really matter. But what ended up happening was Foto Master addressed the problem, came up with a much better solution, the laser cans. And the demo went like this, and I was there for it. Personally, it goes back probably, 7 years, maybe more, 6 years, something along those lines. And I took the spray can and shot it from 10 feet away from the screen and painted on the wall. And I literally saw the people, the marketing director of the company and the head of sales, and their eyes just went, boom, we're done. And that was it. It was an unlock. And there you go. So the support that I found from the Foto Master community was a little different than maybe most people, because we've been in this a very long time, and we have our own tech team that understands product, and because of the support that we get directly from Foto Master when we learn a product, it's not as directly to solve a problem for us. What the challenge it does solve for us, and this is very strong with us, is the ability, we operate all across the country and into all across the United States, plus into multiple other countries. And the network allows us to find vendor partners within the community, because here's the thing that's interesting, is if somebody has Foto Master products in their arsenal, I can tell they're like-minded. Because one of the things that I respect about Foto Master is they do not cheapen their product to lower the price. They will stay at a higher price point. And I've had conversations with my partners in New York complaining about, oh, it's so expensive to buy this mirror. I could buy it cheaper, blah, blah, blah. And the answer is, by keeping that up, they were able to support us and have that extra bandwidth to be able to have the 24/7 tech support and things like that. But the community, if someone's going to go and spend that extra money to buy a Foto Master product, it means that I can go into that vendor community and find somebody to become a vendor partner of ours, or what we call them, certified approved vendor of Fotoboyz, and be able to use them for events. And I've never used a vendor that had Foto Master equipment and had anything but success. That's my answer. My long-term goals are to pivot into seeing what's next, and what's next for us, and what's literally a presentation that I put out yesterday to one of our 7-8 year long clients that we do their annual events, is to virtual mosaic, and in two different versions, in the 2D version and the 3D version. And it's a very complex, they operate through, they own a hospital, chain of hospitals, and we have to import the photos, and we have to do everything in a just so method. And that's, one way we're going to look and pivot. The advice that I give somebody who's just starting out is to be very, very organized. It seems funny that if you only have one event in a month that you need to be organized, but you do, because you need to set the tone right. We are extremely busy, and it's juggling. It's a lot of work. And if I had it to do all over again, I would have started immediately with a CRM instead of having to work it backwards, our customer relations management program, in order to juggle all these things and to control the workflow, and the life cycle of a lead turning into a customer and then further into a client, to nurture, to create those campaigns, those nurture campaigns, and to really control your inventory completely, to really understand that. That's critical. Do not get lost in trying to be the cheapest guy in town. dumbing your way to the bottom is a huge mistake. You are going to screw up your business if all you do is price compete. You are nothing. I will eat you alive if all you do is try to compete with our company on price, because you'll never last in the industry. If all you can do is go a dollar less than the guy before you, you've got nothing. You have to give benefits. You have to become a brand. You have to do more. You have to go above and beyond and more and more and more. And maybe you're going to lose money in the beginning, but you will win in the end. I use an analogy, and I'll say to somebody that's trying to do that to me, there's two scenarios. One is because we have a lot of equipment. We have over 30 photo booths right here, and I have 40 in New York, and we have a lot of equipment. And so we'll get the phone call on a Friday saying, "Oh, I need a photo booth for when? For Saturday night." "Oh, really? Okay, what's it for?" "For a wedding." I'm like, "Really? You didn't plan this out?" We had another photo booth vendor, and their truck broke down." "Oh, really? Where did you find them?" "On Groupon." "Oh, I got a funny feeling the truck didn't break down. I think they booked a higher price job. What was the price of the photo booth?" $299. Uh-huh. So here's the thing. You really have to balance the scale between trying to get, you had this one, and this is the other one that I do all the time. Is I'll say to somebody, I'll say, "Look, I know the venue," and they'll say the venue that they're at, and I say to them, "Oh, okay, nice," and it's PGA National. "Okay, I know what that venue means. I know where it fits in the scheme of things." "Okay, how many guests?" 200. "All right, so I know what that means." And then they'll say to me, "Oh, I found this other photo booth for $599, $499, whatever they're going to say." I say, "Right." I said, "Let me ask you a question. You're going to serve food at the wedding, right?" I'm like, "Of course." "Are you serving McDonald's?" They go, "What?" I go, "Really? Because it sounds like you want a McDonald's photo booth. You want Walmart photo booth? Is that what you're looking for? Because it sounds like that's what you're aiming at. I mean, I can't imagine that's you have a standard. You have these other vendors. I know where the venue is. I know all these things, but you can't serve a hamburger unless it's from Ruth's Chris at a wedding. It's just not going to work." And I also say the other line that I say to people all the time, and is that we are 100% not the cheapest guy in town. We're also not the most expensive. We find the sweet spot where we can make money and provide amazing service and pay our staff really well to do a job. And we will be here for you, for your event, for your daughter's event, for her daughter's, for the next one. But if all you want is cheap, you don't want us. The fact that the Foto Master products are not cheap and in some cases are expensive leads to exclusivity, and also leads to you getting an advance time on the people that balk, your competitors that may balk at the cost of something. You will get your foot in the door. You'll become the brand. And we generally, as a company, Fotoboyz, are not the early emergers. We're the step right after early emerger is where we buy. We threaten to buy in the beginning, but until I can really see it, I need another minute. And it happened that way with a lot of products. It happened that way with the graffiti wall. It happened that way with the mosaic. But as soon as I can unlock it, that's when we buy. But at the same time, the fact that you never give away, that Foto Master doesn't give away the product, leads us to, be able to get that time when if somebody calls on a graffiti wall, not everybody's got one. So it's wonderful because it guarantees that I'm not, if they want that, I'm not competing with anybody else that doesn't have that. And if the ones that do, again, they're Foto Master clients, they're not going to go cheap. So it's a benefit.